We're here in Alan Blackwell's home in Cambridge, and Alan Blackwell is a professor doing research on visual representation. We're going to sit down for a bit and have a talk about how can it improve people's everyday life and how can we use it when designing products. And Alan, if you were to pay some advice to people working with visual representation in the industry as well as in academia, what would it be?
So I think there's two things. One for when you're starting out, one for if you're already expert. When you're starting out, I think what you need to do is you need to take a pencil and you need to spend time drawing many things, because professional designers, like my cousin who made this lovely screen print, he worked for many years as a graphic artist. Every client that you work for, you make 20 drawings or even 100 drawings, evolving your ideas, getting towards the one that will give the client what they need.
As we just saw in the Kettle's yard, actually, a sketch to do
Absolutely.
The sculpture, and then afterwards a drawing. So
yeah, it's a very foreign culture to people who come from engineering or computer science backgrounds, who often stop once they think they've got the first good answer.
Mm-hmm.
And, learning to use a pencil involves repeatedly going over it, and also asking questions when you see visual representations created by other people. Always ask yourself, why are those lines that shape, or why is this that color? How has the page been organized in this way? What is this person wanting to make me think? So when you see good and bad examples around you, then those are things that you can draw again with your own pencil,
mm-hmm.
To develop the skill, the analytic skill and the practical skill in your hand.
So lots and lots of practice.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
For people who already have that skill, the day-to-day professional design practice, often you're working within established genres, statistical charts where it's completely clear how people will find it familiar to represent that information. And a skilled designer, of course, spends a lot of time doing things in the most clear and natural way, and there's no disgrace in that. But there are also times when you need to invent your own genre, say things that haven't been said before, or say them in a new way. And that's the time when you need to understand the fundamental principles. And the chapter that I've written for interactiondesign.org, that breaks down the elements of visual representation to a lot of those basics, to say, if I'm creating something that is an innovative, a brand new kind of representation, I'm trying to say something new, then you need to understand the basic elements of marks on a surface, the division of the plane, how you compose elements to have meaning through symbolic correspondence.
Alan, I'd like to know, how can it actually improve my life in my home as an individual?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that happen in your home that are important to you, but they're invisible. I guess at the moment something that many of us are concerned about is the way that we're using energy and electricity, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say something about that because it happens to be a research project I'm working on this summer. So we're thinking if people need to reduce the amount of electricity they're using in their home, they have to actually have a good understanding of where their electricity is going and how much they're using. Now, many companies are making products at the moment to help communicate that. And so you can very easily buy measurement devices that give you little numeric readouts and tell you how many kilowatt hours you've used in the last week or something. Those are fine if you come from the kind of technical training where you understand what the meaning of power is as opposed to current and voltage. If you understand electricity, if you understand what a kilowatt hour is, because to many people a kilowatt sounds like an amount of electricity. Why do we have to put the word hour in there?
But it requires a lot of thinking, and there's a lot of things to think about in everyday lives. It could be done easier, I guess. Yeah.
We're working on a project. We're creating a new visual representation that will be installed on the wall of some houses near Cambridge.
Mm-hmm.
We've installed current monitoring equipment in those houses. And this week, in fact, a student has been working with me creating a visual representation which will be on that screen, giving them a better understanding of how much electricity they're using. So this is the prototype we're making at the moment. In a small screen in the wall of the house, it will simply show you how much energy you used yesterday and how much energy you used today. And the size of these boxes represents the amount of energy. So a bigger box is a larger amount of energy.
And I can actually instantly see that. I don't have to think at all.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've divided the boxes according to whether these are heavy current appliances or light ones, whether heaters or lights. And these green bars show whether, for that particular kind of appliance, did you use less than yesterday? So we emphasize that by showing a green, this is the amount of energy you've saved. Or have I used a lot more than yesterday?
That's the extra one.
There's red to show today you use more of that than you did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an example. We've got a lot of very sophisticated technical information that is providing the power that is powering this display, but it's a visual representation design job that is more understandable to people without technical training than the standard products that you get. So that's an example of visual representation changing your life in a positive way.
So that's changing my life in a positive way. If you think it a bit grander, in a larger scale, will it make the world a better place?
Well, I think it can do. Visual representations are certainly used in political contexts, and they're used to present messages to us about the nature of our world and our country, our finances and so on. But they can be dangerous because when people are explaining things to us in words, although many words can obscure the structure of the situation, and a visual representation might make the underlying structure clearer than a long explanation, it's also the case that when politicians or people in public office are using words, we can recognize when they're trying to influence us. When they use particular kinds of words and language, we know that they're appealing to our emotions, and that maybe we need to inspect their argument more carefully. So that's the skill of rhetoric. When it comes to visual representations, we actually don't have a very good understanding of visual rhetoric. So the places you put things on a page, the kind of lines you use, the colors you use, all of those can be very persuasive, in fact. So even something apparently objective like a statistical graph, you can draw the same numbers in ways that tell you that a communist is giving this message, or that it's a weapon of war. If only people were better educated at creating and analysing visual representations themselves, then I think we'd be able to make better use of a public discourse of visual representation. So I think we could make the world a better place in that way.
So you say, in school we could learn more about visual representation, but what caught your interest in the beginning? How did it all start?
For me, okay. Well, I guess I'm a member of the first generation that had access to computers in our homes. Through fortunate coincidence that my father was an engineer who worked with a first generation of engineering workstations that were small enough that they could be picked up by two people and put into a car. By two people, and could be carried in the car. And one summer, when I was only 8 years old, in the late 60s, my father took the computer with him on holiday to our family summer house. In fact, in a place in New Zealand pretty much like this. And I very vividly remember that summer sitting learning my first programming language on that computer. Now the amazing thing is that it was just a single line of text on that screen. And when you started typing, you were typing directly in a programming language. So you typed commands directly in the basic language, and you could immediately make the computer do things. Years later, when the graphical user interface was invented, it replaced that kind of language. So pictures appeared on the screen, but they removed the power that we had to control the computer. The command line has disappeared. Now it's very hard to find where the programming language might be in your computer. So really my life's mission has been, I love visual representations and I surround myself with beautiful visual objects and I love designing them, but I want them to give people far more power over technology. I guess a little bit like the electricity display, that if you know this information and it gives you more understanding of the technical infrastructure around you, then we have a basis on which people can be given the power to control their environment and to have command over technology, rather than just being shown things as though they were only consumers.
So they can actually interact.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So really what I want to do is get back to when I was 8 years old, but with more pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe bring the beautiful picture of the beach inside into the computer, but still be allowed to control it.
So thank you very much, Alan. Thanks for your time and your explanations. And if you want to know more about visual representation, you can read Alan Blackwell's chapter at interactiondesign.org. And here you'll also find other chapters by thought leaders, and you'll find videos as well as this one. And thanks for your time and interest.